Alright, hello everybody again, and welcome back to the art show. So today we're looking at a great painting by an unknown artist, or I should say an underappreciated artist. Her name was Gloria Karn. What is interesting is that she was a first generation New York school artist, which of course is painters from the late 40s, early 50's in New York City, who really pioneered abstract expressionism, which is like Jackson Pollock, Rothko, de Kooning, etc. This is a pretty large painting, just it's about 40 something inches wide, maybe 20 high. To give you some perspective, of course, I have it next to two paintings I discussed earlier by Igor Pantelov, and there's kind of a interesting couple degrees of separation here. And completely very different artists with very different ideologies, if you will. This painting was done in 1958. As we can see, it was signed Karn 58, which was really the apogee of the abstract expressionist movement in the United States. And looking at this painting, we can see the artist really, she was exactly where painting was at in 1958. She was really on top of it. You can see some using some texture, using this color field action going on. You know, kind of there's some obviously some similarities to what was happening with painters like Helen Frankenthaler, Morris Louis, Paul Jenkins. We kind of see, you know, that's where, you know, art was headed in the late 50's, early 1960s. So she was really right at the top of the game. And what's interesting is that Gloria Karn was, she started off as a very successful pulp fiction artist. She illustrated pulp fiction covers in the early 1940s, right when she got out of high school. So when she was about 18, 19, she was supporting her family in New York by, you know, painting pulp fiction covers. For detective magazines, romance, you know, all the like, right when sort of that pulp fiction world was at its peak. And at the end of the war, I believe in the sort of like later 40s, her real interest was in becoming a fine artist. I believe that's really where her sensibilities were always at. She was interested in becoming a real painter. And she studied with Harold Rosenberg, who was very influential in sort of teaching, creating a generation of very successful American artists. One of his best-known students is Andy Warhol. So there you have 2 degrees of separation between Gloria Karn and Andy Warhol. Ironically, at this point, when this was done in 1958, I would say that Gloria Karn was probably, may have been better known, or at least a better painter. Certainly a better painter than Warhol at that point. Warhol was still doing commercial work, or supporting himself mostly with commercial work. Or actually, no, by then he was already selling work, but certainly in the 1950s, he was primarily doing shoe illustrations for I. Magnin shoe store. And most of the great painters of the pop art, and also some of the later abstract expressionists, you know, started off in the commercial world. James Rosenquist, etc. This is a really great painting. I would say this is like a solid 10. It's got a lot of color. It really needs to be seen in natural daylight, or actually I should say a brighter light, so you can see all the detail. And what's really great about this painting, what's great about like any really fantastic abstract painting, is that it always changes, it always challenges you, it always reveals something new, and this painting has that quality. It's not just a a one note type of painting. There's a lot of layers and depth to it, which really reveal themselves over time, and you always find something new in it with different light. Again, like I'm shooting this video in natural daylight. It's of course it's a great day, gray, G-R-E-Y, G-R-A-Y in New York, and the painting looks darker than it actually is. Comes in the original frame, probably put in 1960 or so. Really great painting, which now the market, speaking of market price, she doesn't really have Gloria Karn. What happened was I believe in the late 40s, early 50s, she really did what most women at the time were doing, which was their priorities were in marriage and family. She got married, moved to the suburbs, and raised a family. So I believe that if she would have stuck with painting, she could have been easily, today, regarded as one of the really top painters, not just top women painters, but really top painters of that era. Certainly, I think this painting is on par with any of her peers, whether it's Joan Mitchell, Lee Krasner, Frankenthaler. This painting really is right up there, whether it's a female artist or really any of the men artists. It's just a great painting. And not a lot of paintings are out there. I do see sometimes they come up at auction. None of the big auctions, so it's really not something which has a huge market right now. But I believe that with time, this is one of these artists that will be rediscovered or reappraised, and the prices will certainly reflect that. This is the type of painting that if it was by sort of a name brand painter, this would be a $30,000 painting, $20,000 to $30,000 painting easily, or more. And when I name brand painter, I don't even mean an A-list painter. I'm referring to more of the sort of like the B-list type of painters. So certainly this is a painting where you're paying for the quality, you're paying for the product, as it were, not just the brand name. This really is a fantastic piece, and I hope you enjoy it.